after your guys' experience with the Socratic seminar on Tuesday, what are you going to do differently next time? So again, just in a couple of sentences, write down. Maybe you were like shy because it was your first time doing it. Maybe, you know, like you felt like you could have like had some better stuff written down. So like, what are you going to do next time to improve the overall experience?
Yeah. Do the same group every time, right?
No. I just randomly last time just like wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh.
So. But I'll mix it up every time though. But they did just make it as this right now. But it's supposed to be writing like that. Remember, like, where you had the boutique there and like the restrooms? Yeah, it's literally that building. All right. Okay. All right. You guys have the same classes. Oh, you have stuff now. Oh, thank you. This was a cue from the staff member. Do you need one or not? Okay. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so again, this isn't necessarily for me to hear. I don't want you to like, because you might have said something that you were kind of embarrassed about, but just it's something like for like retrospective. Just like think about like I could have done this a little differently. I haven't put the grades in yet for it. I have them all written down on paper, like what everybody got. I did have some A's, I did have some B's, had some C's, a little bit of mix. Some D's if you didn't really respond. But again, I had said you had to give meaningful contribution, and some of you did a good job of that. Some of you guys had really good conversation. Some of you do need to find your voice, how to project it a little bit more, and that's okay. That'll come with time. But it is important for you to be able to speak clearly and loudly so people can hear you. Okay. That'll help you not just in school but outside of school as well. Okay. My thing kind of crazy on me there. Oh, way up there. Okay. All right, so we are taking a quiz on episode 3 on the podcast that I had you guys listen to. So if you guys could go ahead and go to this week's module and find that quiz, it'll be under block day. If you haven't listened to it, or if you need to re-listen to it, especially because I know this is one of your guys' first times doing this, you guys can. Just have your headphones in. But there's a 25-minute timer on it, so again, you only have that amount of time to do it. So, give a pass. Give a pass. Okay. You guys are supposed to make something down. I don't know why you guys are back there. No Jalissa today, or Amina? No, you guys are in the wrong seat, so you guys are supposed to be by the seat back. Because Rihanna and Selena are supposed to be sitting where you guys are. Yeah, it's important that we go to the right seat so you guys don't get marked out there. So, especially if you want to go run your guys' name. Go Alejandro today? Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember my first year teaching was when my son was born. Oh, yeah. No, I know, but you definitely have to like divide your time up. It's a lot harder to be professional and a parent at the same time. Yeah. Talking about the part of they have so like they get a lot of information outside. Then they hired, yeah, but for the first one, so I do one every week. And that's what we're going to do is I actually review the artist, which is the stuff that is actually awful for commitment. Oh, yeah, I did that last year and I actually got him to like do a remote recorded with me. What's that? You're good. I mean, if you're done, you could either start working on the brief, right? I mean, I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, or if you have any other assignments you need to work on, but
If the difference about the family or just one? It
it
can be
could be both. Either you can choose. You can make it about the whole family, or you can pick a family. Yeah, it's Friday. We're gonna observation activity with the background. Yeah. So the way I do it usually, and I'm in the library just but I usually actually reserve the house, the library, like the downstairs part with the table and stuff. And I have a QR code at every table where they scan it and it's me giving you video instructions on what to do at each station basically. And so they listen to it. They focus basically on like one sentence and they focus on for like 5 minutes and they read through other people's comments. How would they do I have a separate table with the right. So like if people need kind of forever, some people want to yeah, I don't have them like that.
Right. There's some revision to get done.
Yeah. So they're just in the steps or get to start themselves already. Yep.
Survey, so. See how they do.
Yeah, again, I'm gonna walk them. I don't do this for all of them, like, I'm not doing it for my first and second grade, this is my fourth grade very quickly. Okay. So this is my first week, and then I kind of have them do this major damage to this a little bit. But same with my third period.
Right.
This is also like, like behavior or so like I'm gonna be like each sentence, I'm gonna be like, okay, we're gonna talk about this, okay, we're working on the next and be very direct with it.
No, this isn't a inside paragraph.
And this is just one
Paragraph written response to a prompt.
and the paragraph's long, it's like 10 sentences long, you know, but I mean, honestly, that's kind of my expectation for like their body paragraph should be.
Right.
I'm trying to get them, I'm trying to push towards the accommodations and modifications to the assignment. I can be looking into it.
See, this, I like that because next year, when we get to the transition, like I feel that I see and sometimes they don't go into the next section, but they're actually out. Like, paragraph. I don't know if you do want a paragraph.
We're gonna be doing one next week.
Okay, so when you get, I don't think, from my experience, my personal sort of view, I think really have to do after talking to you, right? That's fine. Or at least not expected to.
In my class, they will.
Yeah, it's like, there's like a modification.
They'll be doing two this semester, pretty, like, we're gonna be doing one for the 3 units.
Yeah.
We'll be doing one for Medea, for the semester. Next semester, we'll do Caesar, one for word supplies. And then we'll be doing at least 2, if not 3 next semester. Okay. In fact, the last one, it's one that's completely different from everybody else. I feel like, I feel like it is.
That's what I was trying to say without explicitly saying it, you know, but just because, like I said, when it gets to the next level, it's a big, huge difference in expectation. And it's no longer just, oh, we get paragraph response, like that wasn't even trying to.
Yeah.
Let's have some depth to this response.
Yeah, the next one should be, I would say, closer to 3 pages, 3 pages.
Wow.
This is gonna be about 6 paragraphs long. And again, my expectations for each paragraph, I mean, really, the paragraph should be probably closer to like half a page, just like 4 pages. Got that? Were you looking at it? Okay, but just the first that's so, you can try it. Oh, you just speak on okay. You ready to pass? Thank you.
Yeah.
The last 200.
Alright, about 10, 15 more minutes and you guys should be done. We will need to be moving on. So, again, it's just multiple choice, so technically we were supposed to listen to this ahead of time. So, just remember. Oh, no. Yes, exactly. Yeah. How were they before? How were they once they changed? Hi, how are you? Good. Is the announcement available by any chance? May I use this person? Cool, thank you. All right, guys, just a few more minutes, and then we do need to move on. Okay, while you guys are finishing up, I'm going to put on Apache Notes for you, which I normally show to my second period, but obviously we don't have second period today.
Good morning, Sanger High. I'm Ivan Rodriguez with your Apache Notes for October 28, 2021. Sanger High students in the 10th through 12th grade, Sanger High will be offering the ASBAB assessment. For those interested in joining the military or for those who would like to take the assessment as a career exploration tool. The assessment will be offered until November 1st. If you are interested in taking the assessment, please sign up with Mr. Palomo in the guidance office, ASAP. There will be a Halloween costume contest on Friday, October 29th, during lunch in the quad. The categories are scariest, funniest, most creative, and best duo or group. Come out and show your best costumes. The Apache Theater Department is proud to present their fall musical with Disney's Frozen June. The show runs October 28th and 30th, and November 3rd, 4th, and 6th at 7:30 p.m. They're also meant October 30th and November 6th at 2 p.m. Tickets are on sale in the Student Center and will also be available at the door. Students are $8 and adults are $10. Come enjoy this magic-filled story of love and finding oneself. Attention seniors, if you're interested, senior tributes are currently for sale, so put down a $50 deposit in the Student Center to reserve a page. We will be contacting you to schedule an appointment for Saturday, November 6th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. to design your page. Full pages are $300 and half pages are $225. Contact Mr. Williams in room 1101 if you have any questions. Boys and girls wrestling has officially started as of October 25th. Practice is now mandatory if you are planning on coming out, unless you are still participating in another sport. Please give your blue cards to Coach Warwick. Any ladies interested in playing softball this year? There are practices every Tuesday and Wednesday after school for the next 2 weeks. If you have any questions, see Coach Pennington in room 1308. We will be continuing our Socktober drive until October 29th. Please donate your unused socks to room 311 or in the library. They will be donated to the Hope Sanger House. These have been your Apache Notes for October 28th, 2021. Have an amazing day, Sanger High.
All right, so we are going to move on because, again, you guys should be done with the quiz. We're not going to do it again. I'm going to go back to the quiz, though. Okay, so just a heads up, I gave you guys a bunch of time to kind of listen to it during class. That's not the expectation of this. This is our first real podcast, so I will be doing podcasts every week. So you guys will need to be listening to them before the quiz. They will typically be on Tuesdays, usually. They weren't this week. Well, Tuesday or Block Day, but they'll be one of those days. I'll let you guys know which day it'll be. But again, you'll just plan on having it listened to by Tuesday. I actually just have the next one is actually already there. If you are unable to listen to it on Apple Podcasts, I will put it on Canvas for you guys, so that way you guys can listen to it still. So it'll be there. You'll be able to listen to it. But yeah. So, anyways, any questions? Okay. So the reason why I'm doing this, the reason why I have you guys listen to the podcast, is basically so that way you guys have more time to do writing in class, and so you don't have to do as much of it at home. So rather than me giving you a super long lecture or a 10 to 20 minute lecture, you listen to the lecture at home, and then we can do more actual hands-on work in class. All right, so the next one's gonna be actually, I interviewed the artist of Metamorphosis, so the guy who drew the comic. I actually interviewed him last year. So that's what you're gonna be listening to next. So episode 4, An Evening with Peter Cooper. Okay. Why does it look so weird? It's like all smashed together. Okay, it doesn't look like it's there. Alright, that's weird. Okay, I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so while Gregor Samsa, obviously he had a physical transformation. We all know he was human, he turned into a bug. Could be symbolic, could be literal. He was a traveling salesman, he helped raise money for his family because his father had lost his business during a market crash. Once he turned into his bug, obviously he wasn't able to make money for his family anymore. And then we were able to see how the family changed as a result of him not being able to like participate in the family anymore. So what you're going to be writing about, let's see if this slide will work before it's all going to be weird looking too. That's really bizarre. Anyways, you're going to write a brief write that discusses how the family has changed because of Gregor's transformation. You'll need to include the following: topic sentence, brief summary of what the story is about, 2 quotes, and the quotes aren't going to be direct quotes, you're going to paraphrase them. 2 to 3 sentences explaining your examples. You're going to tell me what it shows, how it shows it, and why it's important. So those 3 things for your explanation. So this should be at least 2 to 3 sentences. If it's not, you're not writing enough. You'll need a transition sentence between your 2 quotes, so like how they were before versus how they were after. So like, while the family was one way in the beginning, over the course of the story, they changed into this way. So that's how you do a transition. Remember that evidence sentences shouldn't start with a quote, which shouldn't be a big deal because you should be paraphrasing because you're looking at a comic as opposed to a traditional text. Okay, so what we're going to do, and I know a couple of you probably already started a little early. So just again, paraphrasing, we already talked about that a little bit on Tuesday. I'm just gonna get this mess up on the other one too. Okay, so this is how your rewrite will be formatted. It should be at least 10 sentences long. So topic sentence is your answer to the question, which is how has the family changed over the course of the story? That should be your first sentence. You're gonna tell me how they've changed. The rest of it is you showing me how they've changed. Okay, so what is 2 to 3 sentences? What was the story about? First quote with an introductory clause. Again, paraphrase. Explain how the quote supports the topic sentence. So, how were they like in the beginning? So, what was the family? And you can focus on the entire family as a collective group, or you can focus on individual family members, like the dad, the sister, So those are other options that you guys can look at. Transition, again, while they were this way before, this is how they changed over the story. Your second example of how they were later, and then explain what that picture, what you're describing your example, how does it show that they've changed? And then concluding statement, why should your reader care? So maybe you could talk about like how transformation is important, or how people are capable of change even though it doesn't seem like it. Something like that. That's how you would wrap up your paragraph. Okay. So we're going to go through it step by step. So you're going to get 2 minutes for your topic sentence. If you're already done with it, that's fine. But if you haven't, again, you're going to get 2 minutes to write it. Remember, your topic sentences, how have they changed? Bless you. So we kind of talked a little bit about it in one of the, I believe it was our second discussion that we did, the second where you had to, from sections 2 and 3, you were supposed to talk about it. So it's not like we haven't already discussed a little bit how they've changed. So All right, so 2 minutes so, write your first sentence. How has the family changed? Either the whole family or one member. Okay, docs should be open. Google Doc needs to be open. See some people typing, thank you. See some people need to have a Google Doc open because you can't type if you're not actually on a doc. Sorry, commercial. I was like, who's talking? They really want you guys to subscribe to Grammarly. Although I'm not gonna lie, I actually do use Grammarly, so. Okay, a little less than a minute to finish your first sentence. Bless you. I'm gonna give you guys about 30 more seconds because some people are a little slow to open up their doc. So I finished that first sentence. How have they changed from beginning to end? What were they like before versus what were they like later on? Okay. All right, so you should be done with your topic sentence. If not, just kind of pause where you're at. Okay, so the second one, all right, here we go. This is going to be our summary. So summary, I would say no more than 2 sentences. What was the story about? Again, you don't have to tell me every single detail that happens in the story, but just like if you were to describe this book to somebody in like 1 or 2 sentences, what would you say it's about? Okay, about a minute left. And by the end of that minute, you should have your topic sentence and your summary done. Just what was the story about, basically. Okay, moving on. All right, now you notice that the last two have been 2 minutes. I'm giving you guys 5 minutes for the quote, and I'm also going to be giving you longer time for the explanations as well. So the first example was an introductory clause, or basically, again, paraphrase, so you'll have to actually open up your book now to look and find, again, not necessarily a quote, but I would say find a panel that like really shows how the family was before they changed. Okay, so find a good example of how they were before, and whatever panel you use, this is how you're gonna. Even though you're paraphrasing it, guys, you still need to cite where you got it from. So what page number is it gonna be on? So if it's page 13, it would just say Cooper 13. Take 5 minutes. Find an example of how they were, and then write it. Get one panel. Or look for images of the family members, like the dad, the sister. Okay, just under 3 minutes. All right, just under a minute. You should have your topic, summary, and now your first explanation or not explanation, your first example. Okay. All right. Okay. So now that you've found your example from the book, so you've explained how one of the family members was before, or at the beginning at least, of his transformation. Now you need to explain how does that quote show it. So like you've explained like what they were like before. Now you need to tell me how does that show like what you described, like what they were like before. Why is it important to their character? How could it maybe affected Gregor? Like what's the importance of it basically? So you need to kind of go into some depth and not just like summarize like he was mean or he was not nice if you're talking about the dad or she was caring or whatever. But like how maybe like try to relate it back to Gregor in your explanation. Okay, so 2 to 3 sentences of explanation. All right, 5 minutes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, about a minute and a half. Remember, you should have been writing 2 sentences. So, in topic, summary, example, and now you should be up to at least 5 sentences, because 2 sentences for your explanation. All right. Okay, so we're back to a 2-minute one. There we go. Transition sentence. So again, this is where you say, you've given your first quote how the family was, you've explained how that quote or that section, that panel, how that showed what they were like. Now you need to transition to like, okay, this is what I just talked about, this is what I'm about to talk about next. So you're gonna basically say like something to the effect of, while they were this way in the beginning, and be more specific than I am, I'm just kind of making it generic for you guys, but while they were this way in the beginning, this is how they changed later on after Gregor's transformation. Okay, so 2 minutes, transition, go. All right. Okay, and I know we're just kind of plugging along, but I'm just trying to make sure that we like stay on track and don't fall behind. So, second example. So now you're going to find the example. So you're going to look in the book for a panel where it shows a section where it's like, oh, this is how the family member had changed. So you're going to explain what they're doing in that picture, and then afterward we'll go into the explanation part. Okay, so 5 minutes to find your next example. Okay, you're halfway there. You should be writing about your example now. Bless you. Oh, back there.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. That was me. Sorry. I was very confused. All right, so let's do a quick check real quick. Let's count our sentences. We should have the topic sentence, summary, first example, 2 explanations, transition, and now your second example. You should have 7 sentences at least right now. Maybe you have 8 if you did another sentence of summary or explanation.
I have almost 11.
Okay. Not sure where those extra sentences are coming from. Sometimes revising though, because this is our rough draft. On Friday, we're gonna revise. We're actually gonna be meeting in the library, and we're gonna do a revision activity that I've been doing with my first and second period. Okay, hopefully you guys have at least 7. Maybe some of you are going crazy like some of these people over here and writing more, but you know. Okay, 2 to 3 sentences of explanation. Again, now this is the part where we explain. How did that example you just show me? How does it show what they're like now? How does it have an impact on the story or on Gregor? So again, 5 minutes for this, 2 to 3 sentences. You'll be up to at least 9 sentences or 1 million if you're, you know, Michaela or Ashley, but.
Oh, yeah. So all kinds he just signs them like, you know, I was in the PLC meeting today, so you know how he did in the PLC meeting this morning. He signed the gas, you know, gas cars, so autos and cars, things like that. He definitely kind of put a buster posting on his base cards. Yeah,
So the previous sentence was your example of, like you like talking about a specific panel, like to show what they were like. Now you're explaining how that panel shows what they're like. So how have they changed? What changed them? Why did, you know? That's basically it though. How did they change? Why did they change? How did that, what were that example you used? How did it show that they changed? Alright, last one. Concluding statement. So the concluding statement is where you basically try to make sense again, like I said earlier, of like why we read this. Why did your reader read this brief write? So that could be something like trying to like show how it's relatable to the person who's reading it as far as like transformation, how like people can change, how family members can change, positive or negative aspects of that, why this whole like thing, like why the story is important, why the message is important. Okay? So 2 minutes. William. What's up? Okay. Senior pictures, as of right now, we're gonna have a conversation, but yeah, no, senior pictures are done. Yeah, this is way further than we normally ever do them. Yeah. They've had since June to do them, and so it's like, yeah, they've had 4 months to do them, and I already am pushing it a little farther, as far as like meeting our deadline to turn them in to the plant, so. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm having a meeting with them today with, Laura today, but I mean, right now the message is, yes, we are done. So, because I can't foresee us being able to change it. We had over 600 seniors who did do it, you know? So. Yep, thank you. All right, bye. All right. Okay, so as I was walking around, I just had some issues with formatting, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna fix some formatting a little bit. What you're gonna do first is we're gonna do what's called the page header, so that's this up here. So how you're gonna do it is you're gonna go to insert, and then yours is a little different now that I remember for the iPad. So you guys are gonna click on the little plus icon in the top right. And then page numbers, I believe, will show up. So click the plus icon. And then you're gonna click the first little page. And you should see a page number pop up there. So technically, this won't really probably affect. Some people might spill onto a second page from the brief write, but this is more for when we do our multi-paragraph essays. Okay, so plus symbol, page number, and then the first page. You need help? Call me over and I'll give you a hand. So, okay. You have to be in edit mode. Now the plus. and then page number, and then the first one. Yeah, you have to be like in edit mode for the plus symbol to appear. Anybody else need help? Okay. Then what you're gonna do is before the page number, you're gonna type your last name and put a space in between. So if this was multi-pages, it would put it on the top of every page and the page number. If you typed in one, it would just literally say one on every page. So that's why you have to add the page number and not just type it in. Okay, so there's that first. Okay, this is called, I know it's kind of confusing. This is the page header, this is the page heading. So for your heading, this is where you put in, make sure that everything is double spaced also, especially when we go to type this up, or when we go to print this up, because we're going to be printing these out, and you're going to be bringing 2 copies tomorrow. We're going to be meeting in the library, and we're going to be like revising each other's stuff. So double space allows us to be able to write comments in between. But first and last name, Worldlet for you guys it'd be Worldlet 4. Then my last name, your instructor's last name, the date, and I know the date looks funky to you probably. This is because unfortunately, we live in America and we do everything backwards here. We don't do the metric system like the rest of the world. We do the date backwards too. So if you guys notice, I've been writing it like this instead of, how are you guys used to seeing the date normally? Yeah, October 28th, 2021. The comma is actually there because it's out of order. So that's the only reason why there's a comma there, because we do it out of order. So you would write 28 October 2021 in that order. Now, here, this is our title. The title is centered. Notice the entire paragraph is not centered though. So I sometimes will see people who they'll have the entire thing centered. So for the title, I don't want it to say brief write. Okay, I want you guys to come up with an actual title. So think about what the paragraph is about. It's about change, it's about family, it's about transformation. So you want to try to come up with a title that reflects that. Now, if you guys look at mine has like 2 parts to it. So this is what I call like the catchy part of the title. So mine was Descent into Madness. And then there's a semicolon, and then the second half of it is what the essay or what the brief writing is doing. So for you guys, you could all say, looking at how the family members transformed in Metamorphosis. And that could be the second part of it. And then you would just have to come up with like a little catchy title right there. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to format your guys' paper. So you want to make sure that you've indented your paragraph. So I'm going to zoom out. So you need to make yours look like this. You do not have to highlight. Okay, don't worry about the highlighting. That's just to kind of show the different types of sentences. You don't have to do that. What you do need to do is you need a title. You need the page header, the page heading. It needs to be double spaced and it needs to be indented. So I'll be coming around, but taking a look, seeing what we're at. If you have a question, let me know.
Hey, how do you do double space on the iPad doc?
It is, it's a little A icon, and you switch to paragraph.
Oh, got it.
And then line spacing 2.0.
So we want to select all.
Yeah, so it's like the A.
Okay, there we go. Okay, paragraph. And then we want to go to line spacing. We want to change this to 2. And then that's it. So double space. So everything's double space. So notice I typed your name. So we're going to do the header for the page. Yeah, okay, good. See how it's double spaced? It can be the class and period number. Okay. Remember this.
You good? Okay, so you don't have to put it in parentheses. Just write World Lit 4.
Hey man, trust me, when I wrote my thesis, the whole class session for like 2 hours just formatting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, English majors, so I mean, I'm like,
I'm sure it's real natural to you. For me, it's like,
yeah. In the lay-in, but I've done EPA like what?
I got like a concluding.
Yeah, but for the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, 10. 12. Yeah, thank you guys. So that's another reminder too. In fact, I'll change mine because it's not. Here, let me go to select all real quick. Okay, so for the font, it needs to be Times New Roman and size 12. Same thing with your title. The title is the same font. How do I know that it's the title though? How do I know that it's the title and not part of the writing? Look up here. It's center. Everything else is the same. Again, I know it's boring. I know we like doing crazy fonts and stuff like that, but this is like a professional way of formatting a paper. So that's why I'm just trying to show you guys again how to make it look professional. Let's go. Okay, anybody else need me to take a look at theirs and point them in the right direction? Yeah, so it needs to all be double spaced. Oh, you made this all page cover. Okay, I see what happened. So we just need the last name here.
So here's what we need to do. Now we need a format. Okay? How do you do it? So here's what we do. So let's to highlight everything. So how do you highlight? Can you highlight everything? Can you highlight everything? Let's highlight everything. With all the text.
Okay, now we should be able to start.
Don't you like do select all of these?
There we go. Now we're paragraph. Like spaces. Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Now
Okay, anybody else need help?
we go to this A over here. We go to paragraph.
It looks good.
Couple paragraphs.
Let's just make sure we
And then we want this here to line spacing 1.15. We want to go up to 2.
Anybody else need to take a look at their paper, make sure the format is okay?
Now notice all these spaces. We want to actually
Whatever you want to make it, but you need to come up with some sort of creative title again. About transformation, family, change, something to that effect. Maybe when you feel useless, not when you are useless. But that's good. I like the title though.
Okay. So now the next thing is we want to put your so see at the top he has your name and then he has a little bit. It might be a little hard to it's like a C.
You want to see what we got?
In my
Wow.
edits, I put on pages.
Just because I'm on random mode, like, dude, it's fine. I did, did you get my email back to the?
You should still put the author or where you got it from, because like on page 36 or 7, it's like,
Yeah.
From where, like, you know, so you still need to put like the author, and then, that is a good question. I think so. She's asked if I put page numbers in the sentence. So she put on page 36, 37. Does she still need to cite the author?
Technically, no. So
Technically, no. You don't need to put the author.
that's actually something, well, okay, wait, did you include the author's name too?
No.
So, yeah, so what you would have to do, like, you would say like on page 45, Peter Cooper,
There you go. Okay. Yeah. You get somewhere get the author.
yeah, so, but that's how you, yeah, because I haven't got, that's something I'm gonna go into later, or like more advanced, but, yeah, because if you include the author and the page number in the sentence, you don't have to cite it at the end. Because you don't include that. Cooper, because he's the one who made this, because this isn't exactly like that. Yeah, so that's a good point. That's why I did put in the slides up here. When we got to the example slides, it said Cooper and the page number because again, even though this is based off of Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, Peter Cooper is the one who made this. So you want to give him the credit for this because he already gave credit to Franz Kafka by putting his name on the book. So. That is probably too many sentences, so we'll have to look at that when we revise it, but that's okay, it's okay. Again, some people need to add, some people need to delete.
I keep writing it, and I keep adding.
See this right here?
I know, but what I'm just gonna tell you is that I've noticed that people who write too much sometimes will ramble and like get off topic. So we just need to make sure that it all is necessary, okay? What's wrong with that? Why is, yes and no. It all needs to be one paragraph, so it's not all a bunch of mini paragraphs. It's all one big paragraph. So you just need to, one thing that should be answered is the first sentence, and everything else should be connected. Okay? Alright. Let me make a call for some more extra time, and let's see if we can do something real quick.
Just like watching picture.
Are either of the computer lab company
No, I mean, if I gift card.
Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you. No, it's okay. All right. Okay, so here's what we are gonna do for the rest of the class period. We have 20 minutes left. We are basically done with most of the stuff that we need to get done. But what I want you guys to do, since most of you are finished, which is great, obviously submit it to Canvas. Make sure you guys do that. You don't wanna forget that part. And I do give full credit for rough drafts as long as they're complete. Final draft is where the real, like, I become a jerk and I actually grade you, so sorry, but, no, but so we're gonna do that. We're also gonna be printing 2 copies of our reprints. Because tomorrow, we're actually, like I said, gonna be meeting in the library. We're gonna be getting in groups of 3. You're gonna be giving your paper to other people, and they're gonna be like going through and leaving comments on it. So I know you guys haven't done this, so it'll be a little different, but it's, to me, it's really helpful to make your guys' papers better. So if you guys notice, I have computers around and they are all connected to my printer in my office. So you guys can take turns logging in. Make sure you log off so people don't get into your stuff, obviously, when you're done. But you guys can take turns getting on computers to print up 2 copies of your brief write. And while you're waiting, if you are waiting, we have a week and a half until, well, not even a week and a half, really, a week and a day until the end of the grading period. There's still a lot of brief writes missing in this class. Harrison Bergeron, end of play. Those are really important. Those need to be done. So what I would suggest you do, if you are waiting, while you're waiting, that you are working on those brief writes, I'm here if you need help. Those are gonna be the things that have the biggest boost in your grade. Okay, so everybody needs to be working on missing assignments. There are a few people in here who have A's or really high grades. If you are one of those people, awesome, good job. But unfortunately, that is not the majority. The majority of you do have some assignments that you need to be working on at this moment, okay? So what I'm gonna have you guys do, there are computers. It's a small class, so I should have computers for most people. So go ahead and hop on one and log into your Google account, and you're gonna print, and we'll get them out of the office for you, okay? Oh, yeah. So you need to share an export from, I don't do the website thing because it doesn't go through the plagiarism checker that way. So you go to share an export. And then you're just gonna send a copy to.
What's your team?
What's your team? No link. It needs to be in the file. Yeah.
What's your team?
Hey guys, I have you guys submit a little differently than Miss F did. I don't want the links, for one thing, it can't run through the plagiarism checker that way, so that's part of why I don't do it. Okay. So I know, again, she had the link shared before, so what you're gonna do though, is you're gonna go to send, share and export. Send a copy. PDF is fine, that's how I want it. And then you're gonna click right here where it says student, a little canvas symbol. And then for course, obviously not math, go from it to your math teacher on accident, she'll be really confused. Okay, so my class, and then assignment. Course, you were gonna have to scroll down and find it, but metamorphosis, brief break, rough draft, that's where you're submitting it. And then just submit. And that's it.
Hey, there you go. Now submit it.
Print your stuff first.
You go over there. Log out your Google account and check on the computer. Well, then go print it on the computer.
Okay, I should see people cycling on the computer, getting ready to print. There's still computers back there.
We don't know how to print.
Okay, well, let me know, and then just open up your Google Doc and I'll come over there.
I've been done that.
All right, so go to file. Actually, you could just click the little print icon right there.
Should be able to.
Yep. And then just click print. Oh, wait, sorry, go to 2 copies. And then now click print. And that's it. I'll go to yours.
Yes,
This keyboard's broken.
You know what password is?
Isn't that CSC? This keyboard won't work.
You're still playing with it?
Me?
Yeah.
Keyboard won't work.
SESC.
Yes. Well, go to, forget to go to your stuff, back to your mom. And then once you get there, you'll have to log in. Make sure you guys log out. Good, I already see you doing that. I mean, my yearbook class, they're pretty good. They shouldn't inject with your stuff next period, but still, you never know.
Aiden, just come here.
Yeah, just hop on there. Okay, a lot of people in this middle area who need to be coming to computers.